born and raised in the mountains of North Carolina, specifically the Appalachian Mountains. I'm going to share a story that involves a haunted church. When I was a freshman in college, I was also roommates with one of my high school best friends, Anna. Anna and I went through a phase where we were honestly kind of obsessed with anything that was haunted just because I think we were so intrigued with it. One weekend, we decided that we wanted to go home. While we were home, we decided that we were going to meet up with two guys in Boone at the Walmart parking lot, and we were going to go to this church that was proclaimed to be haunted. I personally did not believe that it was haunted, but I was down to give it a whirl and go visit. So we meet up with these guys, and it's the two guys that are in the front seat. Anna and I are in the back seat, and these guys, I believe that they were volunteer firefighters, but they had like all of the things in the trucks. They had like the CB radio, they had like all kinds of like technology things in their truck. I don't know what they were. I just know that one of them was a CB radio. That's important for a little bit later on in the story. So we get to this church, he parks the truck, and we get out. And to be honest with you, I kind of stay back at the truck just because I didn't really want to test the waters if the church was actually haunted. So I kind of stood at the truck. The guys go do their thing. I think one of them literally goes to pee in the woods. The other one is just kind of like walking around. And Anna is not directly beside me, but she's kind of near me as well. And we're just kind of chilling. Then at one point, the guys kind of come back, so we're all kind of standing near the truck, just kind of chit-chatting. When all of a sudden, the three of us, so the two guys and I, all three hear the exact same thing. It's a very, very, very deep, dark voice that says, "Get out." Now, I also heard children laughing in the background. So I am the only one of the four of us that heard children laughing in the background and the "get out," but three of us heard an incredibly deep, dark voice that said, "Get out." So we haul into the truck. We're like running in there. And I just remember looking at Anna going, "Anna, what are you doing? Get in the truck. Did you not hear that?" Anna's like, "No, I didn't hear it. Oh my gosh." So she gets in the truck and the guys literally zoom off. We just go right past and we just get away. Well, I forgot to mention this in the very beginning of the story, but the church is on a dead end road. It's also a dirt road. So he gets to the end of the road and we realize that we have to turn around, pass the church again to actually leave the area. Before he passes the church again, he literally stops the truck, turns the radio down, and he says, "Are y'all ready?" This might sound so dramatic, but we literally wanted to brace ourselves before he passed the church again. And how the church is located, it was literally like in the center of the road, and you kind of like had to go around it to get past it. So you would literally, as we were leaving, we saw the front of the church, and then as we were leaving, we saw the back of the church. But we literally pass it, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you that the church was glowing red. And in addition to that, all of our cell phones turned off. The radio was changing channels. The CB radio was going static, and all of the things that they had on their visors were literally just static radio sounds. Everything was just going, all the technology in the truck was literally wigging out as we're passing the truck. So obviously, we're pretty freaked out, nonetheless. We eventually get back to Anna's car, and at this point, I literally was so freaked out. I was like, "Anna, I'm staying the night with you. There's no way I'm going home." Absolutely not. As Anna and I are leaving Boone to head back up to Banner Elk, we notice that there's like this red globe light that's kind of following us the entire way up to her house. We park her car at her house, and her house is literally located on top of a mountain. It's absolutely stunning. And her house is here, and then like her front yard, backyard area is what I would consider like a valley, kind of. It's just like a big, beautiful field. And we park her car, and that red globe is literally in the field in front of us. And we're just like, what the heck? Do you see what we see? Like, that's so weird. I can remember this like it was yesterday. Us seeing that red globe following us the entire way, and then in her front yard completely freaked us out. So we literally counted down so we could brace ourselves to leave her car to get inside of her house. As we're running into the house, we hear church bells ringing. And I haven't mentioned this part yet, but it was nighttime. I think it was probably close to midnight by the time that we actually made it to her house. So definitely not a time of the day that you would hear church bells ringing. Fast forward like maybe 20-ish, 30-ish minutes, heck, maybe even an hour, who knows? We were both so freaked out. I was just on the cusp about to fall asleep when all of a sudden Anna's mom comes running into Anna's room, and she's like, "Girls, what are you doing?" We were like, "What are you talking about? We haven't done anything. We've been home for probably an hour. We've just been chilling. Like, what are you talking about?" She was like, "I heard the door shut so hard that it woke me up. It literally woke me up." We were like, "Marsha, we haven't done anything. We've not moved since we got home. We really don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't us." And she was like, "All right, well, that's weird." So then we all fall asleep. And then this is the part where I promised I would never fiddle with anything haunted ever again after this next detail. That next morning, we woke up and I had scratches and bruises all the way down both of my legs. Now, I don't know about you, but that's pretty daggum freaky if you ask me.
Let's tell a spooky story. And my cousin and I went hiking and camping in New River Gorge National Park. Now, let me preface that even though the sign to the campground, which I will include a picture of, was very concerning, the campground itself was absolutely wonderful. We pulled in, went to the bathroom, checked out the shower houses, pulled around to our campsite, set up our chairs, sat, talked, drank a little bit, giggled, made some funny TikToks. We're having a wonderful, wonderful time. While we're sitting there talking, we decide that why not leave the rain fly off? It's a beautiful evening. There's not any rain on the forecast, and so what's the harm in leaving off the rain fly? So we curl up in our tent and we can hear people down at the communal fire pit, kind of see the glow of the fire pit. We do hear another car pull up and park, and then we hear them traipsing through the woods as they are setting up at the campsite above us. We realize that they have a couple dogs with them. The dogs are barking a little bit, growling a little bit, because they're noticing like the people at the communal fire pit. So the dogs are just kind of like alerting their owners. It didn't seem like the I'm scared or something's wrong. It was more like a hey, there you are kind of bark. No big deal. We go to sleep. I couldn't tell you exactly how long we'd been sleeping when I hear the dogs start to growl. And it is not a growl of like, hey, hello. It's a growl of danger and I am afraid. I opened my eyes for a split second, long enough to realize that there is no more glow or speaking from the communal fire pit. I see no light and I hear no human voices. I very quickly shut my eyes, like pinch them shut. The dogs are still growling. I can hear their owners telling them like, shh, quiet, be quiet. The dogs do quiet down, but the minute, and I wish I was exaggerating, the minute these dogs stop barking, owls start hooting. And they were not hooting before, because mind you, I am completely awake and I am just listening and taking in everything. Seemingly for no reason, the owls just stop. All at once. The whole forest is quiet. I mean, like, silent. In that moment, I swear every pore in my body went ding. And I just felt like there was something looking in at us. Okay, my phone keeps falling and it's really freaking me out. I couldn't tell you for how long I laid there terrified. I at some point fell back asleep. But as soon as that sun rose, we sprint to the car. We definitely drove faster than we probably should have up to the shower house, got into the building, got into the bathroom, shut the door and looked at each other and went, were you up all night? As the day progressed and we told each other like how scared we were and like what we had heard, it was crazy that we both had this horrible sensation that like something was above us. We didn't feel like something was beside us. It was like it was above us. Needless to say, the rain fly went on and we will never, ever, 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 ever be making that mistake again.
About 2 years ago, I had a dream that my son had a friend. And I had went to visit my son's school in this dream. My son is 17. He'll be 17 in like 2 days. So I went to his school. My son got this friend, new best friend. Anyway, this friend is possessed back there. Whole ass demon inside the little boy. Like, seriously. Like, off the haunted TV shows type shit, you know? And I have to help exercise whatever's inside this little boy. I don't know why I was doing that in this dream, y'all. I don't know. I've had a lot of dreams where I'm exercising people's demons. Or exercising demons out of people. And I think that's because of my purpose as far as, like, alchemy therapy and everything that I'm doing or whatever. Okay, so boom. Me and the principal in this dream doing the most to help this little boy. I don't even remember if we actually succeeded or not. Long story short, dream, furthest thing out of my mind. Actually, I kept thinking about it because of the children my son befriends. So I'm constantly thinking about it, but you know, it's in the back of my mind. My son meets a new friend. He went to his friend's house today. And I had to pick him up from his friend's house. Y'all, the little boy looked exactly like the little boy in the dream. Not only that, that's not only it. The little boy lived basically in the cemetery. Like, it's across the street, but the street is small as fuck. There's the cemetery, then there's this house. It's not even a two-way street. It's like a one-way street. So this in the cemetery. Okay. So there's that. So the little boy come out to meet me, which is strange because teenagers don't give a fuck about meeting their friends. Mamas, shh. Came out to meet me, y'all. Very formally. Very mature, like, creepy ass little name. Oh, then he had another friend with him. He looked creepy as too. I'm not trying to judge kids. I don't judge children, but I'm just making an observation here. Making an observation, and I need y'all to help me make this observation. Because what the I'm looking at? I say, you live here? I'm like, so is your house haunted? He's like, oh yeah. We hear doors slamming in the middle of the night, type shit. He didn't say type shit, but I'm just like, okay. My son is like, oh yeah, we was just hanging out. Me, him, the other friend, and his sister. His sister's gothic. They gothic. Like, they just kind of act like that. They got cats, whole lot of cats. But me being who I am, I have no room to be judging people. I'm just making an observation. What do y'all listen? There's not a whole lot more to put to yeah. List. Yeah.
So a controversial topic in Appalachian lore and stories is that of the feral people. Now, some people believe that there are feral people living in Appalachia, in the Appalachian Mountains, and some people think it's a bunch of bullshit. Now, there's no solid proof that there are feral people in the mountains, but let's go back to the story of Dennis Martin. Dennis Martin was a 6-year-old who was away for a family weekend, for Father's Day weekend. This was back in the 1960s. And so him and his family went on a hike. It started around Cades Cove, which is an area of the Greater Smoky Mountains. Dennis, along with his brother, I believe, and his grandfather and his father went hiking. They hiked from Cades Cove to Russell Field and then ended up camping there overnight. They ended up hiking to Spence Field, where they met up with another family with young boys who were also with the last name Martin. It was late in the afternoon and the boys decided to play a prank on the adults. Dennis was wearing a bright red shirt, and their goal was to hide and then pop out to scare the adults. See, the adults knew what was happening, and they watched 3 of the boys go one way and Dennis Martin go the opposite way. Now, the 3 boys played their prank. Everything was all good, but then when Dennis didn't pop out to scare anybody, his father was wondering where he went. He went looking for him. He hadn't been out of sight for more than 5 minutes, but as his father was looking for him, the search turned frantic. They combed the entire area, everybody in their party, looking for Dennis Martin, who was nowhere to be found. His dad eventually got out to the park rangers a little bit after 9 p.m. At that point, it had been raining a lot. The ground was soaked, and the temperature was dipping into the 50s. When they went to search the next day, there was heavy fog, 2.5 inches of rain, conditions that just made it very difficult to go looking for him, but everybody still searched. Over the next few weeks, the search party grew almost too big. There were Boy Scouts that came there. There was a group of Green Berets that came, National Guard, everybody coming to look for this little boy. There were even helicopters. With so many people stomping through the muddy terrain, that pretty much made any kind of footprint, clue, scent, whatever, it's going to disappear in all of that foot traffic. They had seen what they thought was a footprint from an Oxford shoe that he had on, but figured that it was probably from one of the Boy Scouts that was looking. There was then an odd testimony from a family. This family that was in Tennessee looking for wildlife, several miles from where Dennis went missing. This family had no idea that a boy was missing, and when they saw it on the news and heard about it, that's when the father ended up calling and saying that during that time he had heard a scream in the woods and saw figures running. At first they thought maybe it was a bear because the Smoky Mountains is filled with bears, but then later determined that it was just a disheveled man. What we're being led to believe from some is that this was a feral person, but police and everybody kind of discredited this. They were like, there's no way that Dennis could have gotten snatched and that fast gone several miles over to where these people were at. Many people think that he was snatched and taken by somebody, possibly feral mountain people. Even Dennis's father thought that he was kidnapped and at one point was offering a reward. Like I said, many people had theories of what they think could have taken Dennis, and they thought that it was feral men. These people that lived in the mountains, lived off the land, and apparently snatched cattle, livestock, and children in the middle of the night. These wild men could be descendants of mountain people that went deep into the forest before it became a national park. Tribes that operate outside of society. Needless to say, Dennis Martin was never found. I'm thinking that maybe an animal got him, or he got lost and eventually, succumbed to the elements of being in a national park. Like I said, there are bears all throughout there, but a little bit unnerving.